So here we are in our call of June, and in the call this time, we'll be diving in two main sessions of the call. You'll see in the next slide, we have the agenda for the call. So first, we'll share with you some juicy news updates from the Ecovillage Network, what's happening in the network, and maybe some of the news will be really useful for you. And at the most important part, the majority of the time, we'll dive into the topic of cultivating deep learning through Ecovillage travel. This is summertime, travel time, and a lot of us are also maybe planning for moving about around. And those who are into the regenerative movement like us, we always want to make the most out of our travels to learn and experience as much as possible, yeah? And in this call, we really want to dive in this question of how we can really nurture this deep learning in every steps that we go. Supporting us in this call, we'll have Raf from Mad Travels in the Philippines, Make a Difference Travel. Later in the call, he will share from his own experience of how he has been designing, nurturing, organizing experience traveling to make an impact. Okay, so let's dive in with some updates from the Ecovillage Network. So we would love to share with you that the annual report of our Ecovillage Network for last year, 2022, it's ready, and you can access it from the link that I put in the chat. And we also share this all over our social media and everything. So in this annual report, you will find the updates of what has been happening in the whole Ecovillage Network in all of the region, including our region of Oceania and Asia, with all of the nodes and including the youth network as well. So I will not be diving into this right now, just an invitation for you. Maybe after the call, you can come and check it out. And next is an annual award that are launching for all communities, all eco-villages are invited to apply. It's called the Hilda Jackson Award. Jen holds this award every year to support and honor projects that build communities around the world with regenerative practices. And the application for this year will due in 21st of June, which is very soon. So if you're from a communities and if you are thinking of applying for this award, yeah, you might want to hurry up and finish your application. And the next update will be about our region, GENOA. So we would like to happily inform and celebrate with everyone that we welcome Natalie, who's also in the call right now. She joined us as the pro bono bookkeeper. All of our operation teams are volunteers right now, and Natalie is also joining us in a volunteer spirit. She's from Thailand. She's a mud builder, a regenerative designer, educator, and I think some of you will be also connecting with her during this call later on. And we're also still looking for more members to join the team, especially in supporting us with our website and IT and with social media. These are the fields, the aspects that we are still trying to learn and improve. So if you have the skills, the time, and you want to join our volunteer team, then just contact us. You can reach out to us simply by emailing genoa@ecovillage.org. And next is a series of events that will be happening all over Asia with the support of GENOA. It's called the Dances of Universal Peace Asia Tour. On the screen, you can see the list of countries that this tour will pass through this year. And in each of these countries, there will be workshops, in-person workshop where we will learn a practice. This is a community collective practice where we will be in circles, singing, dancing together, connecting together, and also building peace and inner regeneration. More on this, we'll also share on all of our website, social media, and newsletter. And especially this year, we'll have a camp, an international camp of Dancers of Universal Peace at the end of this tour in Vietnam. So if you have never heard about this, you can look it up. If you have heard about it, then you can reach out to us to know more about the tour this year. And finally, we have our bi-monthly newsletter coming up next month in July. So if you want to share any stories, maybe about your experience in Ecovillage, maybe about a regenerative project that you are a part of, you can reach out to us through genoa@ecovillage.org to share your story, and then we can share it with the whole network of GENOA. At the same time, in the upcoming newsletter, we'll be sharing more with you about what's up with our national networks. We have the national networks in Japan, in Australia, and in Korea, with one emerging national network in India as well. And there are a lot of updates of different activities, environmental, educational program that they are doing, which is really juicy and inspiring, that we will be sharing with you more. I'll share some of them later in the chat, but also on our website and newsletter, we'll be sharing with you more. So if you're not yet subscribed to our newsletter, you can and hear more from us. So that's, in a nutshell, all of the most up-to-date news from GENOA. If you have any question, feel free to put your question in the chat, and I'll be replying to them soon. For the majority of the time today, we'll dive into our topic. So just a quick question now for everyone. Do you have any burning question about GENOA, about any of the updates that you would like to ask? Then you can raise your real hand or digital hand to ask right now. Otherwise, we'll move forward. And maybe we can go off the screen sharing, Luvian. Thank you for supporting. Okay, nice. Now I can see everyone. Hey. So if there's no further question at the moment, I think we can go ahead and move to the next part. All right, I'll pass to Luvian, my colleague in GENOA.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. And yeah, hello everyone. I'm Luvian, connecting from Indonesia. And yeah, to start off today's session, we have a lot of wonderful people here in the room and coming from different places in the world. So let's just connect with each other, and we will be moving on to a breakout room, and we're gonna check in with each other. And the question would be, since we're talking about Ecovillage travel today, which community is in your bucket list at the moment, and why? Where did you hear this community from? And what interests you? What attracts you to go there? And if you're new into eco-villages, you can just share like what attracts you about eco-villages in general. So we will be dividing, we'll be moving into breakout rooms of 2 people, and we will have 5 minutes. And so each person will talk for about 2.5 minutes. So I think Kin has prepared our breakout room. And yeah, have a good time talking with each other. How's everyone doing? How is the breakout room? I hope you all have like really interesting conversations going on. So moving on, let's have like one person from each group share about their conversation. How about that? So now we can just do like a popcorn. Anybody would like to share first? Just one person from each group can just share. Can raise your hand or your real hand or virtual hand. Yes, I think we have Marjorie. You can unmute and share. Thank you.
I can share. Okay, just I'm from French and my English is not very good, so I will try. But we had a quick, very interesting conversation with Angel. She's living in Philippines for the moment, and I am in New Zealand. And so I can talk about me. I left everything in France. I sell my apartment. I leave my job, and I decided to travel to visit communities and to see how we can live as sustainable as possible. And so something I didn't say to Angel is that I am a psychologist. And so I used to work for different companies, but mostly bank and industry, to advise them about conflict management. And so now, after visiting different communities, I would love to do that for communities and more sustainable organization. So that's why I want to understand how they work. And so in New Zealand, the communities that I want to visit is Riverside, Tui community. There was also Rainbow Bay community. So next month, I think I will visit them. So that's me.
Wonderful. Thank you. There's a lot of interesting eco-villages in New Zealand. So yeah, I see
Yeah.
Nam's hand is up. So over to you, Nam.
Hello guys. I just want to share a quick one. Our room is um, kind of kind of a quiet one, and um, uh, for myself, I don't have any like specific name. I just got a region, and also my friend Yukiko is also answering like not like specific a name, but she wants to travel to Australia because she'll have traveled there and she liked it. And also my answer is kind of similar. I don't know any kind of name in Vietnam. Any place has Ecovillage. So I just want to travel to Hòa Bình. Yeah, that's my top list. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Nam. Yeah. Sometimes we don't really know the eco-villages, but you can also just share like what things you want to see in eco-villages. And yeah, I saw Jonathan from Narara. Please.
Yes, hi everybody. Good day to you all. I'm in Adelaide at the moment, in Melbourne, in Australia. I come from Melbourne and I'm on my way to Narara in Gosford, which is why I'm confused about where I am. But it's good to be here with you. I have been experiencing. I met with Francesco. I don't know if everybody else had just two people or how big the groups were, but it was very nice to meet with him. And he's new to this area, so we welcome him. And I've been around it for some time. I've visited various eco-villages. I did some work in the diploma in social change and sustainability. And I am obviously familiar with Narara, where we're going to be moving to, which is quite a new one. But recently I visited 3 locally. So I was trying to think of one I wanted to visit and I couldn't. And then I thought that there was one I learned about a long time ago in Colombia called Gaviotas. I read a book about it, and one of the very early ones, and so that's where I would like to go. But that raises the question of how we do this traveling whilst being more and more aware of the damage that traveling is doing to the environment. So we're talking a bit about offsetting and how to deal with that challenge. Thank you.
Thank you. Great point, Jonathan. Over to the other side of the world, in Colombia. Thanks. And yeah, anybody else want to share? We have like room for 1 or 2 people to share more. What's happening? What's conversation that you have in your group? saw Ajay. So yeah, Ushi. So please.
Ushi, or you can also say Shuya. This is my Chinese name. Also greetings from Taiwan. And I've just seen, also there is nobody in Taiwan, as I'm living here for 10 years. I just had a very nice conversation in my chat room. Nice guy from Japan living in Bangkok. Yeah, doing something with hemp. And I said, hey, also interesting, I'm old generation hippie. We used to smoke it. You used to build it, to build houses. This is different generation somehow. Okay. Anyway, I just found out today about this online meeting, and it has to do. I'm soon going for 2 months to Europe again, and I found out about this one. This is this European Ecovillage meeting, and I just saw some people I even know for over 30 years on this meeting. Basically, what I'm looking for is what functioning communities really exist in Asia. Where could one go? Also just for a visit, get to know everybody, maybe also make decision to become a member or even invest in land or whatsoever. Also, I'm mainly interested in practical things, find a good place to live, as Taiwan is a bit challenged at the moment. Yeah, we don't know about the future. It's nice at the moment. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, we don't want to become second Ukraine. No. Yeah, and well, I'm very happy that here a lot of people from Asia are really in this chat. I didn't expect it. I was participating online in United States-based meetings, doing about free living and build and exit and cryptocurrency and so on and so forth. And I'm really looking for more people to meet in person, not only online here in Asia. Also, thanks very, very much to everyone here that you initiated this. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ushi. Shuya. I actually lived in Taiwan for 7 years too. So yeah. Okay, one last session spot for Malia from the Philippines.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to join you today. It's my first time. I'm from the Philippines, sinapupunan ng Maharlika Eco Community, and we're running this community, developing this community together with Benjamin. And actually, one of our team members are also here, which is also here, Andy, and we want to share that. Say hi. Hi. So we're very excited to be here and listen to this talk. And at the same time, we want to share that first, coming from the Philippines, we want to explore the eco communities and eco villages here in the Philippines, especially in Palawan and other islands here in the country, because we also want to connect first with the communities, especially indigenous community also, so we can exchange our knowledge, wisdom, and at the same time, we want to kind of like consolidate or see what are the products that they are doing there, so we can also help them in developing the products and also learn from them. So for us, Andy and I, we would like to do that.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Lucian.
Thank you, Amalia. Yes. Nice to also check out the indigenous communities. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for sharing, everyone. We can now move on to the next session where Benjamin will kind of share what we are going to do today. So over to you, Benjamin.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, I think, for most people. Good morning to some, maybe. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. I've been busy preparing for a trip coming up, so I am multitasking a bit, but it's great to be here. And it's also quite an honor to kind of like set the container around the purpose of why we're here, the Ecovillage Travel program or efforts, initiatives that we are intending to develop within GENOA, and very much together with some of you, hopefully, here present in the call today. And so what I wanted to share briefly is what led us to this topic of Ecovillage travel. So first of all, it's very clear that we are all about ecovillage development, if we want to put it in short. And in slightly longer, basically our mission statement is we catalyze regenerative communities to thrive, and we empower people to live resilient and regenerative lives. So that is really our mission. And within that mission, this is for our network as a whole. Within this mission, for GENOA as an organizational node in the network as a whole, for us, it's all about weaving regional connections and facilitating exchanges within our region, the Asia region, Asia and Oceania. So that already touches on the point of traveling, exchanging, connecting. And some of you may know, maybe most of you know, that we did a long and very thorough inquiry 2021 and early 2022 that we call the Metamorph project, Metamorph inquiry, to really go deep into our network and find and feel what our network is all about, what are the needs, what are our strengths, what do we want to accomplish together as a network. And well, a lot of information came up, but one of the main things was that connections and exchanges was something that was really felt as essentially important. Exactly what GENOA is all about, is regional connections and exchanges. At the same time, human connection was also found as a strength, that we in GENOA are very good at fostering and creating these human connections. And well, when we looked at what our network could offer, it's all, well, not all about, but one of the big things, one of the strengths that our network could offer was hosting. Basically, ecovillages and communities in our network are very happy and looking forward to hosting people within their communities, within their spaces. So putting all of that together, hosting the connections, the exchanges that we are seeking to cultivate throughout the region, Ecovillage traveling seems to be a really good program to develop. So that is basically what led us here today. Since maybe early this year, we have set this for ourselves that we would love to explore Ecovillage traveling as one of the main things, as a flagship project within GENOA. And so we're like, okay, let's do this community call around Ecovillage travel to explore this theme, to hear from experts. We hope that Raf will be joining us soon. I'm not sure if he is here already. He is supposed to be with us. And also to hear from anybody here present, their experience. We've been sharing already a little bit, and also their ideas about how we can develop this together. We already have an initiative coming up in October. I'm sure that Ken or Livian will probably say more about that later on, so let me not yet go into that. But yeah, for you guys to also input your ideas later on during the Q&A in forming this, co-creating the Ecovillage travel program together. And let me ask Kin, Livian, would you like to add anything to what I have shared?
Thank you, Benjamin. I think, I don't know about others, but for me personally, a lot of my deep transforming experience was in eco-communities or eco-villages. So this topic is very dear to me because I kind of know how it went for myself. And I believe a lot of others found traveling can be life-changing as well, if it's really in tune with your personal development. So that's also another reason why I think talking about this at this time for us, it's really important. And just one more point is that in GENOA, in the Global Ecovillage Network, Oceania and Asia, the idea of having some form of ecovillage travel program has been around for many years. So we really wanted to do this, connect communities around the regions for many years now. And there's a lot of questions. One of them was the one that Jonathan mentioned, like how we travels and at the same time minimize our environmental impact and maybe even maximize or offset it by doing something great in the way, right? So, and also how communities can connect to each other, how people can find communities, something that Ushi also asked, like if I wanna go to certain countries, how can I find the communities that are doing great work in these countries to visit, and how do I contact them? So all of these questions, we want to also hold space for it and address it so that we can have a program, a fruitful program in Asia and Oceania. So I just want to add that in. Thanks, Benjamin.
Do we want to hear from one or more people here present why they like to explore this theme of Ecovillage travel? Is there a hand from Jonathan?
Yeah, Jonathan, again, if nobody else has got their hand up. So I would say, first of all, that we actually came across Narara at the beginning of COVID, and we did an open day on Zoom, including a drone flight over it and a handheld camera walking around it. And although we have now visited several times and spent some time there, we actually have a weekly Zoom meeting, which is on at the moment, so I'm choosing you over it, so that we get to know each other as people who are joining. And Zoom has really been an amazing blessing, as we can see now, and obviously it saves the traveling emissions and so on. So I wonder, on the one hand, whether you couldn't do this partly by having on the GENOA website a tour around the villages. Ask each village to put a tour up to introduce themselves and some of their characters and some of their housing, so that people get a taste of it without actually having to travel. And the other thing I would say in practical terms is we are going to be setting up an electric car share at Narara when we're there, so that people can use electric cars which we're powering from our roofs without having to own it themselves. And we're also going to be putting our eco caravan on that share, so that people who have now become aware that we shouldn't be flying everywhere all the time can actually have holidays and relax and go off in an easy, environmentally friendlier way and get some time off and visit other eco-villages by that means in our vicinity.
Anyone else like to share at this point? Why do you find the topic of Ecovillage travel interesting, fascinating, worth exploring? What brings you here? We're also having to fill some time because Raf isn't here at the moment yet. So we're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So feel free to share. Yes, Ushi.
Yeah, just very brief. I just would like to know where in Asia are actually already kind of functioning communities. Also not only couples with kids who buy a house. This is not a community yet. Yeah. Also this I really would like to know. Also I've been checking out the scene in Taiwan. There is, besides some religious motivated groups, nothing much. Yeah, and of course it's good if you don't have to fly around too much, but on the other side we cannot go by foot everywhere, especially when you are older. You also cannot drive hundreds of kilometers on your eco bike. Sorry. Yeah, also I don't know how much you all want to implement the 17 goals of sustainability of the World Economic Forum, if you really believe in this, or if you really want to have a free life. Also I'm the second one. I'm looking really for a free life. I'm not looking for some agenda to be fulfilled. I'm not interested in this anymore. I have too much life experience. I've lived in several communities. I know it a bit. Yeah, but of course we have to care about our environment. I'm very interested in produce my own food. I don't have bought land in Taiwan because it's an unstable political situation. Well, but I would like to in another country who has a bit owner protection. Yeah, it's not so easy in Asia. Vietnam is a communist country and so on and so forth. Yeah, so I don't know. So therefore, I just want to know where are the people, where to go there, yeah, and is it possible to visit, or if not, having to fly there, where to get some useful information, then one can still decide. Yeah, also this is my interest. This is why I was happy to join today. I hope I'm quite clear with what I said. Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, that's a great question, Ushi. And well, to keep it short at this moment, we do have a wonderful Ecovillage map on our website. Have you seen Ecovillage map? Yes, you have. Okay. No, you haven't. Okay, have a look at it. And if you have any questions about any of the communities, then just send us a message and we can say a bit more. But there are a lot of communities in the Asia region. Have a look. I'm sure you'll find a lot. Yeah. Maybe can you put our website in the link? That might be easy. And well, we're going to have another breakout session at this moment. And I'll pass it to Luvian for leading us into that breakout. And thank you so much, everybody, for your sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Benjamin. So we're just gonna continue the conversation that's already started with Uchi sharing and Benjamin and about like what's our interest in Ecovillage travel. And yeah, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into another breakout. This time we're gonna go deeper, and we are going to explore some questions as so if you're a community, part of a community, a steering group of a community, you can kind of like you can start to reflect about like what have you done, what have your community done in this topic, and how have you been trying to cultivate deep learning experience for people that come? How have you create access for more people to come and experience different ways of life? And yeah, and the next one, if you're an individual, so if you're an individual not really from a community, or maybe you just move in a community, haven't really got much in joining, like organizing visits or yeah, or anything. So you can also consider yourself as an individual. So you can start like reflecting within yourself and sharing to the group from the point of view of a traveler, like what stimulates deep learning for you, and maybe like you can also share like what are the things that you are interested to see. People already been sharing, starting to share, and also what kind of support you need to visit these communities. Already mentioned something about, oh, we need a directory of eco villages, where to find them, where to contact them, how do we be in touch with these communities. So yeah, we can continue this conversation in the small groups and see what comes up, and we can come back to the big group to discuss further. So I think can already share already prepared the breakout group. So yeah, let's move
Just
into
to
the
note
group.
that I put the question in the chat so you can see it, and maybe you can take a look now before you go into the Zoom, because the question will disappear. And I've prepared room and set it for 10 minutes. So it's really enough for like a round of sharing. You can also get to know each other and share a bit your passion for travels, together with the question of how to cultivate deep learning through traveling to communities. All right. So if you don't have any question, I'll make the group run right away.
Okay, I think everyone's back in the big room. So yeah, how was the discussion? Let's continue to harvest the discussion, and maybe this time we can have like we can continue to just do like a popcorn, just like before. Maybe one person also from each group can share. Anybody who feels called, you can just share about what are the interesting points that have been coming up in the group. to the week. So yeah, offering the space now for anyone who, yes, I see a hands up from Nam. Please go ahead, Nam.
Okay, this gonna be a short one, so please support me or correct me if you guys have more ideas. But what really stay in me in this room is hands-on experience, like cooking. We all have the kind of the same answer, like cooking is a way to stimulating.
Okay,
Okay.
cooking. Next,
Uh,
Marilyn, you
I'd like
can
to support
share.
Nam. We are in the same group together with Yukiko and Bridie. Yeah, so in general, we found that experiential learning, hands-on immersion, that those types of activities, community-related activities, is one way to cultivate a deeper learning experience. And then, like in the case of Nam, he went further and he aspired to, or he envisions living with the indigenous people, planting in the garden, and understanding through that process, understand their thought and logic, their way of thinking. He also wants to be able to, aspires to build mud houses and visit the forest with the local people. And then Yukiko, she was able to join a yoga retreat before, and she has had experience with the gardening and cooking. As to Bridie, she mentioned about being able to volunteer and experience some experiential learning. And lastly, for myself, I think my intention, if I get the chance to travel more in and visit ecovillages in Philippines and outside the country, it would be to learn how communities can work together, and if there are conflicts, how can they get resolved. And then again, the fun way, I think, really is to have a project like cooking together, enjoying the meal. Yeah, enjoying the process. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marilyn. Yeah, definitely. Experiential learning is something that is probably a really good keyword of this call. Like how create like this immersive and very like holistic learning, not just like from our brain, but also involving us as a whole being. So yeah, and for sure, food is something that connects us, everyone really, and not just foods in eco village. Usually, like eco villages, we have like local, healthy, organic food, so we treasure that and we cherish that. So yeah, next, anybody else want to share? Over to the next one. Yes, please, Kirsten.
Yes, I just wanted to share about Joanna Macy. I don't know if you know about her right now, but she has developed a very nice program and seminars about deep learning. So she's really making an emotional transformation for each other as well inside of us. Really helping people to find out about indigenous as well as indigenous perspective. Yes, how to live more with nature, and this is a real great kind of workshop. This is one thing I wanted to say. And then, I mean, I'm from Germany, and at the moment the education for the children is very they don't help the children to find their own creativity at all. And in the eco villages, they have new education ideas, new education programs to help the children as well go out in the nature and find out more their own self creativity again. And this is a real great thing as well. I think it's very important because it's our future as well. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. I think what Kirsten shared is more about like programs and joining like workshops, and because a lot of eco villages are exploring different themes such as like Joanna Macy's like the work that reconnects and new ways of education, and these are all offerings that we can we can enjoy when we visit these different eco-villages, and we can experience for ourselves. Thank you for sharing, Kirsten. And yeah, anybody who would like to share again? Okay, if no one is feels like sharing at the moment, we can continue to the next session. At the moment, we are still missing Raf, who's planned to share today. However, we will adapt and flow with whatever is happening, and we can create some other ways for us to carry on this conversation and help us learn from each other. So yeah, maybe I'll pass it on to Ken then.
Thank you, Luvian. So initially, everyone, we planned that Raf from Matt Travel will share a bit from his experience, also responding to everyone's questions and sharing so far about traveling to communities and learning from communities. I think he might have some internet problem. We've been trying to reach him. So whenever he comes is a good time. So before he comes, we would like to take this opportunity to share with you about the intention of GENOA to develop an Ecovillage travel program. So maybe why he's not here yet, I can already give you some sneak peek of our intention for this program. As you can see, the needs for travel and learning why traveling is obviously increasing, and also the interest in Ecovillage and eco-communities are increasing from all around the world. And in this Zoom call as well, you can see some people already ask, how can I connect to communities? Which community in which country I can visit? Which community is open for visitor, or maybe even open for new residents? So this is where we see that maybe we can be the bridge as GENOA, the Global Ecovillage Network in the region. We can be the bridge in bridging communities, ecovillages that are open to receive people, with travelers, with people who want to experience, who want to learn, and maybe even with those who are seeking into becoming a part of a community, like our friend Usha from Taiwan, before Ushi from Taiwan. And so with this, we also trying to start discussing to have a pilot program. And for this year, we're thinking of having this pilot program in the Philippines. So the Ecovillage travel we're thinking of is very much like a learning journey, where people will visit maybe 3 or 4 different communities over a time span of around 7, 8 to maybe 10 days in a country. And in each communities, we were thinking of co-designing with the communities, with the Ecovillage themselves, full holistic experience that include what we call is the 3H: head, heart, hands, and also the spirit part of it. So like some of us here in the room mentioned, hands-on activities really what bring people together, creates more connection and feelings. And also we want people to also know the context, so have some information and maybe have some experience that really touch their hearts and build the resonance, the connection. So maybe even some deep talk on certain topic that people are interested in. So that's what we are thinking of piloting in the first time in the Philippines. And I see in this room we have a lot of friends in the Philippines. I would love to also hear more your thoughts on that. And maybe this learning journey is also a start of something bigger, so people can choose to stay and join a volunteer program, join a course, or join an internship programs to maybe have a longer, deeper experience with the Ecovillage, because few days at the place doesn't tell the whole story of the place. So the longer you can stay, the deeper the experience, also the more connection you can find. And the truth is there are so many communities, so many groups that are doing great work around the area, but only some of them have put tourism or receiving visitors as one of their major components. So they have everything ready to receive people. I would maybe cite Auroville as an example. It's a massive city, regenerative city. And I don't know if anyone in the room is from Auroville or have been to Auroville. Maybe you can also share a bit more a bit after. But so some communities, some eco-villages have already built program and promote so people can find them, can go there. Some it's not even ready to receive people because they are so busy doing other projects on the ground, right? They don't have yet the energy or the space to receive. Some are in between. They want to receive people, they're happy to receive, they have the infrastructure, accommodation, and people to do the work, but they not yet know how to reach out to people. And I have been to only a few communities in Asia, but I can already see some that fit in each of these categories. So this is where I want to hear more from maybe some of the people in the room who have experience with some program for visitors, for travelers in eco-villages that you have joined and you found it really inspiring, really transformational. And maybe if you're from a community like I know Jonathan from Narara, Pituk, Wan Wisa, she also just put in the chat, she's from Gaia Ashram in Thailand. You can already connect with them in this Zoom call to visit. Amalia from, I don't know how to pronounce the name of your village, I'm sorry. Maybe you can help me.
It's sinapupunan ng Maharlika.
Okay, it's Kumahalika
I put
for
it
sure.
in the chat already. We put it in the chat already, so they would know how to search it.
Thank you. Yeah,
you,
so here already in the room, we have members of different communities. So I think this would be a good opportunity for us to hear from you. Any ideas you have? You already heard from me the intention that we have as GENOA. We want to somehow become a bridge, connecting communities and people, doing some sort of learning programs through eco-villages as the new form of travel, eco-village travel. And we also have here in the room some people with expertise on travel and tourism in general as well. So yeah, the ground is open. I think at this point, I would love to make it like a more like a popcorn style. So anything that comes up for you, either question, comments, suggestions, please feel free to put it in the room. So imagine that I have a talking piece. Now I put it in the center of the room. Whoever feels ready, you can pick it up and share from your experience or opinions. I see Angel's hand is up. Go ahead.
Hello Ken. Hello everyone. Yeah, so since Ken has mentioned Auroville, and yeah, I just love to share a few things about it. So I'm from the Philippines, and basically it's just been 2 years journey with exploring eco villages and getting to know more about eco villages. And yeah, I've been part of one program in Auroville, which is an EDE course. And it was really amazing because I've been traveling a lot before the pandemic, and I've stopped traveling for 3 years. And only this year I decided to travel again, and all because it was a good learning opportunity. So I once did an EDE course online, but then I decided to like experience it on site. And I think I would say that it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. And they conduct an EDE course for a month. So it's a 4-week course, and they do it once a year. Like the organizers are also part of GENOA, and I believe they're doing another program tentatively this coming January of 2024. It's really open. The community was very accommodating. It was a very meaningful learning experience because you get to learn from the Oroville model also. So you go through the 4 weeks from exploring different dimensions of sustainability and regenerative practices. And if you are looking for a deep experience where you get to meet like-minded people, you want to have a more meaningful experience with learning more skills, exploring various ideas, new ideas, you need some inspiration, then it would really be a good program to sign up for. So I can share in the links and the website, and also some people that you can get in touch with if you'd love to visit Oroville. Yeah, so it was it's a simulation. Also, if you're new to community building and you want to know more how to build a community or build your own community, what it's like to live in a community, then it's a very good program for you. Thank you, Kin. I feel like I really owe GENOA and Kin and the team for that experience. So yeah, just thank you.
Thank you so much, Angel. Well, 5 weeks in Oroville, I think would be a massive experience. And I believe Oroville also has shorter programs that you can also sign up for. Let's hear from Jonathan.
So Kin, thank you. I think you're absolutely right to point out that there is a time delay from establishing community, people moving in, building their homes, taking a break, taking time to get their breath back before they actually start expanding and opening up again to the community. And I can see that's happening even though people have been moving into Narara for more than 7 years. There's still people building and moving in, and the whole stage 2, we won't even be able to start building and moving in until the end of next year. So it's a long, slow process. But at the same time, there are open days at Narara. They have a once a month open day for anybody to come and visit and show them around and experience it. But they also have, and I should mention my friend Tanya Mottel, who's actually the GENOA connection, I think. And she's the one that put me onto this meeting today. And she's traveling today, but otherwise I'm sure she will be here. But she's very involved with Narara, and she runs a weekend, or they run a weekend experience every so often as well. And I had the benefit of going for 4 days in an intensive to Mura Mura and living there. And actually the most interesting thing there was something that wasn't part of the program. I went to a management meeting, and that was really eye-opening and tense. And also similarly, I arranged 4 days at Findhorn, and I had a specially tailored program there, which was wonderful. And ironically, the person who runs the programs at Findhorn in Scotland is from Australia, so that was good. Really, to get to know these places, there are various ways, and the more you know, and each community is obviously different. So the more you know, how you want to do it, what sort of community you want to be part of, and what you want to try and avoid.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. And just while you're sharing, Jonathan, Tanya just entered the room. So welcome, Tanya. Tanya is also from Narara Ecovillage, and she's a core team member of Gen Australia as well. So Jonathan, you want to add something?
Yeah, hi Tanya. Hope you safely landed in Melbourne.
Welcome, Tanya.
There we go. Thank you, Ken. And yeah, great to hear you talking, Jonathan. And hello to everybody else. I'm actually, that's funny, I've got the picture of Narara in the background. But I have, oh, can you see me now? Yeah, that's Narara in the background, stage 2. And but I'm on a bus in Melbourne, where I'm not going to visit Jonathan and his wife Sue because they're in Adelaide. So great to see you all, and I'll just be quiet and listen to what you're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. So we are in a popcorn round of hearing experience from everyone's about Ecovillage and communities travel, or just travel in general, because I have just shared with people about the intention of GENOA to start an Ecovillage travel program, bridging between communities and people who want to go to communities. Yeah, so thank you, Jonathan, for sharing. And I think particularly in Australia, we have so many eco-villages and communities. And even I myself don't know if all of them are open for visitors or which one is ready. Maybe Tanya and the team in Gen Australia know more.
Yeah, I can talk to that. The team in Gen Australia actually. That's really about 2 of us now. And I had intended to write, and you said, I don't know if you shared the email, the aspect from my email before. Did you?
I cannot really hear you well, Tanya.
Because of the thing in the background. Did you read my email out? Because that was all about visiting eco-villages within Australia recently. And of course, Jonathan and Sue have just had that experience. But I had an incredible time going to one village called Bundagen, which is not a village. They call themselves an intentional community. It's really good. And you've got a frown like I'm hard to hear. So I'll go off and I'll let you read the email.
Yeah, I have the email, and we were intending to put that in the updates in the newsletter as well. That's quite a lot of information. And I was frowning because I didn't catch the name of the community that you mentioned. Maybe you can put that in the chat. And I see a hands up from Luvian.
It's Bundagen. Bundagen.
Still need your support, Tanya, but I'm going to pass to Luvian now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks. I just want to share a bit about my experience visiting eco-villages and also living in some eco-villages too, especially like tying it to deep learning. I feel like my initial intention I got first interested to live in, to visit and see eco-villages because I see eco-villages as healing spaces, place where people can try to reconnect to themselves, because sometimes, life, and especially living in the city, sometimes disorient you, especially like in my experience, like I don't came to the point I didn't really know myself. But I feel like when I hear about the idea of eco-villages, that communities that reconnects with nature and kind of like create an alternative reality together, building, growing their own food, being very connected to the land, building their own houses from available materials from their surrounding, and living in community, like very closely connected with each other, and living basically their daily lives together, sharing work and sharing their daily lives together. I feel like this kind of communities have some potential, like to help me connect with myself. So that was the original intention and motivation for me. And I got to first experience that community living, living with people who's not in my family. When I was in Taiwan, I was doing my master's program. And at the time, I especially picked the topic of eco-villages, so I can go to eco-villages and research about them and use it as an excuse to be in a community. Hey, I'm a researcher. Can I be here and stay with you guys and enjoy your daily life? And that kind of work and And I got in, and people like actually at that moment it was only like two people, a husband, wife, and also like an 11-year-old baby. So I was the first person who was actually who joined that Ecovillage as an outsider and lived like for at the in total of 20 months. So I get to experience I get to experience this phase of like building ecovillages. So like the early stage, it was only basically a farm, and there's nothing like no people other than the family. Not much buildings are up yet. They are still renting a space, renting a house beside their farm, and they're beside their land. So yeah, over there and there, I feel like it's interesting because I feel like um, firstly like easily accepted by people who's actually not my family. We live close simply because of our intention of like we want to create a better world. We want to create this way of living that is more connected to the earth and healthier for ourselves holistically, from our heads, from our minds, our emotions, and our physical body. So yeah, like this kind of community, I feel like that's kind of like my deep learning from experiencing from being in the eco village. So I feel like one thing I would like to share to people here is also like sometimes if you have the luxury of staying in an eco village for an extended period of time and being involved, I think that's where deep learning comes from and transformation. That's where you kind of like really get to see like the good and the bad of eco villages. Like it's kind of like a pressure cooker of like, you know, you need to face yourself. You need, because you cannot just be like a free rider in the eco village. You have to, otherwise people will talk about this and that. And this kind of like relationship, you need to learn how to adjust, how to position yourself in the community. I think that's valuable. And also to open the heart and space for people to be themselves. And because everybody is not perfect, everybody have their own crazy little world and their shadows coming up. And yeah, like holding space for this kind of shadows to come up, because otherwise if it's not there, we don't hold space for this kind of things, we will just keep on tucking it in and we will never get to address it, never ever. So I feel like this kind of, I think eco village, yeah, this eco village, I have this potential to be this healing space because of that. And when visiting eco villages, I feel like, so that's like when we have like the luxury of a lot of time. When visiting eco villages with short amount of time, 3 days, 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, I feel like it's very nice to really hear the stories from the founders and the people who have been there for a long time. There we can hear like, we can really, because these people like really live the life and they really build the buildings, they really go through all of the good and bad of living in an eco village. Because yeah, it's we in the beginning it might seem as utopian, but I assure you it's not. And I think for people who have been involved in eco villages know this for sure. So yeah, and there's this sense of really like groundedness from hearing these stories. So I feel like that's really valuable and very inspiring. And yeah, I think that's what I'd like to share for now. Maybe hopefully to trigger some other people to share, and also willing to hear more and how people experience eco villages. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Luvian. That's really rich. And Francesco has his hand up. Go ahead, Francesco.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I don't know how to raise my hand on Zoom. So, well, it's the first time I joined this type of call. It's very nice to meet you all, and thank you, Kin, for inviting. I want to share my experience because I come from the travel experiences field with a company I founded about 10 years ago in Asia, in Hong Kong. I'm from Italy, but I live in Hong Kong. So I want to share a bit of my experience. First of all, I agree a lot with Luvian. There is really a lot of potential in eco-villages. There is a lot of learn and a lot to learn and a lot to experience, definitely. I have been witnessing more and more interest from the market, let's say, if we talk on a business perspective in this case, right? So on, so from people who is not connected to this type of world that you all have created, and it's very interested in knowing more and in learning. So I think it's really important and is the right moment in history to spread the word on the amazing achievement that eco-villages have achieved in the recent years. So I really think having this idea of GENOA, of starting to offering experiences, it's the right thing in the right moment also. There is a need of learn different ways of living. I can see it. And so please go on and try to do more on this field. Yeah, I think that's it mostly. Definitely travel experiences is also a chance to financially support the villages, which I think also it's very important. So yeah, just want to share this. And from the traveler perspective, I think it's very important when you talk about developing experiences, you think about the traveler perspective, which can be very different, because it's people who come from the city, who live still in the traditional way. And so we really need to put in their shoes and try to understand what they want. So just a final advice I want to do to whoever, I want to give to whoever want to develop more experiences. It's what I've seen in the years working in the field is that everyone look for a few things when does an experience, has to be authentic and local. So my suggestion is try to incorporate as much as you can the authentic and local part. And in Asia, there is a lot of culture that can be shared in every village, for sure can share a lot on that side. Has to be fun, very important, especially because I believe the target is the let's say generation from 18 to 35, I would say, is the main target probably for traveler who wanted to experience this type of trip. So they want to have fun as well when they travel. And then there must be a learning part, of course, and the learning part is the most important to spread the word, as I said. So yeah, just sharing a bit of my experience. I hope it can be valuable.
Thank you, Francesco. I think it's really refreshing to hear from someone in the industry, the tourism industry, and really nice take on putting ourselves in the shoes of the travelers, of those who would like to come. I see Jonathan would like to add in a reply.
I just briefly want to say it's interesting that Francesco mentions that age group, because my understanding is that that age group is the one that's missing at Narara, young single people. And I don't know if that's common around eco-villages, but seems to me it would be very attractive, but I understand why one wouldn't want to go on their own unless there are others, sort of critical mass of young people. But it's interesting that that's the age group that he particularly mentions.
Thank you, Jonathan. And Ushi, you want to add?
Yeah, just kind of same what Jonathan said. I just have been participating in the Live Free Academy of John Bush, actually excellent in the United States. And he did a huge online course, and you won't believe the majority of people who really felt there is a change, yeah, a huge change happening in the world. One has to defend freedom on all levels. Also with growing food is only one part of it. They were actually mostly elder people. Yeah, and I was always thinking only the young family, everybody wants the young family. And I said, but actually the ones who were organizing it, these were young families, yeah. but the participating were mainly also 50 plus. Also I was surprised myself because my feeling is in my generation, I would say I define myself as an old hippie, yeah, but I'm much more than that. Anyway, but we know we had freedom. We actually feel a bit pity for the young people, for sure. You know, if I'm in Taiwan and everybody just on their little square centimeters, which is called the mobile, yeah, I would really like them to read this kind of books. Yeah, Healing Through Nature, because I think these young people don't look so exceedingly happy. Yeah, and I think there's a lot to do, really a lot. Yeah, and I'm quite resonate with what Luvian before said, maybe also because he knows a bit of Taiwanese background. Yeah, there is, and just to add, I'm personally very interested if you do these Philippine tours after the typhoon season, yeah, which means end of October starting. I always see this on the weather. We are all affected. Also, I would definitely like to participate. Yeah, I just hope to get the information, and I'm in. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Uchi. And I'm happy to hear that you're interested in our Philippines learning journey. I also just reading in the chat, there was some questions about eco-villages that are friendly to queer community or LGBTI. I don't have that particular knowledge, but I also would encourage you to reach out to the Ecovillage Network in different regions, like and to communities. For those who are in Europe, earlier Ushi also mentioned the European Ecovillage Gathering, which is happening this July, from July 12 to 17, I think. And I put the link in the chat as well. That's where you can meet a lot of people from different communities around Europe, some from other region as well. I believe Benjamin will be there as a representative from our region. And Rumi also just put the name of an eco-village in the Philippines. So we would hope to harvest from this sharing that we have been hearing from everyone, really key juicy points that we can dive into preparing this upcoming learning journey that we're going to have in the Philippines. And also maybe some of you might be interested in joining us as like a part of the team to curate this experience. And I want to wink those friends who are in the Philippines in this call as well. But you don't have to be in the Philippines, of course, to join us. And yeah, and I just want to also open the room for maybe 1 or 2 more sharing if you have about cultivating deep learning in this travel experience, just reminding us back of our topic of today. If you have any, points that you want to share, or just remember any experience that you have had, you felt really deep and transformational, please feel free to take this chance to share. And I think while you are making the decision to share, I just want to also quickly share that one of my most transformational experience was in Gai Ashram in Thailand. And we have here Pituk from Gai Ashram community. And I was trying to think really hard on what made that experience very special for me when I was in Gai Ashram. And I think it hits me even when people are not trying so hard, when I was just there joining their day-to-day activity and maybe have some silent time in the garden, just looking around, seeing what they have put the work and the energy and the love in the garden. It's already made me feel a lot of different complex emotions and inspirations. And that, I think, happens because people are not making a show for visitors to come to see. This is their life, right? They are just inviting us to be part of their life experience, just to join and see what they've already created. And I think that's what's special about Ecovillage Travel, because you're not coming to an expo where people only show you what's best, but you're coming there and just see the fruits of years of working on the land, years of working on themselves. And I think that makes it really rich in the experience, that people don't even have to try so hard. For me to had a touching experience when I was in communities, and I think that's what's nice. And the work that we are trying to do to curate the program with communities is more about, so if people only have 2 or 3 days staying at your place, how do we make these 2 or 3 day counts, right? Because not many people have the chance to go and experience 1 month in a community. That would be really magical, but not everybody can do that. So how we can make sure that shorter experience still can somehow result in a deep learning experience. So this is a little bit of the take when I reflect back on my experience in Gaia Ashram that I would like to share. So the room is now again open. Maybe 1 or 2 more sharing, and then we can close the Zoom earlier than planned. If there's less sharing, that's fine. And if no one wants to share, let's just take a minute together in silence. That's also okay. Don't feel awkward with silence. Luvian, you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, if nobody wants to share, I just want to touch upon your point you just mentioned, because I think it's so interesting how when you share about even without a lot of effort, putting Gaia Ashram was transformative to you. Like you are able to you see like all of the love for the land that's been put for years and years, and you can feel it. I wonder, that's so interesting, because like I also wonder, like I feel like when I hear that that is possible because you have the ability to perceive it, like, and I'm maybe like not everyone, especially the public, the mainstream public, have this sensitivity to it. If that's the case, or maybe I'm wrong, but my point is like, how do we also create this kind of like experience and learning, this sense of understanding to more people, you know, to help people to also feel the love that's put in the land, the very like how people live in that particular land, how they carefully be. So yeah, I'm just putting it up, and maybe somebody has some answers or anything.
Maybe I can share something about my experiences. But yeah, I used to travel around different eco-villages and communities, and so we talked about authenticity just before as a very important part of your project, of your program. And so in some eco-villages, volunteer was able to assist to see to be a part of meetings of the community. And I think that's kind of very important moment in an eco-village or a community, how the group take decision. And in most of the communities, volunteer people wasn't allowed to go at this meeting. So if you choose, or if there is some communities where this person from the program can go to the meeting, it would be really amazing, because I think that if people travel to see if they are able to live in the communities, it's nice to see how it works deeply. So yeah, just sharing about that.
Thank
I
you.
hope it was comprehensible.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a good point, and that's also because I think in Ecovillages they also, it's like like a lab, right, for a lot of different practices, especially social practices. I think in Narara you use a lot of pro-social. Some other use sociocracy or some other tools or practices. So yeah, that's a great point where you can really dive into the back end of how what practices they are using, how they're running the place. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to slip in some last sharing, last point? Nana, go ahead.
Yes, something that came up for me while I was listening to Lubian about noticing that there are people in your experience in the ashram, that there are people who might be more perceptive to certain experiences. And it just came to me that there's probably a way to consciously attract the people who would resonate with what you are offering as an eco-village. I just like put myself in a position if I'm building my own village and I'll be inviting people. I also don't want for people who do not resonate to be there. Like I'll be spending days or even weeks or months with that person. I don't want that person to be, if not in the point of exclusion, but it's just if you're not resonating with what's going on here, so it's not serving anybody. So there's a way to, like I am thinking of it in probably a way of marketing, like for the lack of a better word, like are you somebody who's looking for this kind of experience, or is this something that is lacking in your life and this is what we're offering? Something like that, like a more conscious way to find your I like to say like-hearted people as opposed to like-minded. So yeah, just that thought came up for me.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Anna.
That's a really great point. It's about communicating our values and like everything that we are for. So it will attract the similar kind of people. Yeah.
Mm. And maybe I can link it to a comment that Jonathan made earlier about how maybe there could be a page on GENOA website where we can share a bit more about the ecovillages that are open for people to visit, with like key points of their values, activities, what people can expect. And before we even dreamt of function on the page where we can do a little bit of matchmaking, like a dating site, but for people and communities, you know, so you can see people's profile. You can also find, like filter it with some elements that you're looking for. For example, you're looking for queer friendly communities, or you're looking for friendly who have practice in deep ecology, the work that reconnect. Someone mentioned Jonah Macy earlier, or maybe communities who are doing very good in ecosystem restoration, things like that. So it's still in our dream right now. We would love to somehow manifest it in reality and have like a really good matchmaking profile platform for communities and people. Yeah, and I think for now, just want to scan the room if there's any energies towards sharing something else. Otherwise, we will slowly bring this call to an end, and we will of course follow up with you, because even though Raf cannot be here today, he has prepared a video with his sharing. So we will share that videos with you as a follow-up on this call.
Yes, I just want to mention one thing for Europe, because there were also questions for Europe. We have already the possibility to search for communities online, which is called Eurotopia. I will put it in the chat, okay? Okay.
Yes, Christine, thank you. Thank you so much. And there was some question about the potential learning journey in the Philippines. We were thinking of yes after the typhoon season, so in October, sometime in October, and we will be communicating more with you for details. And yeah, please find ways to connect and follow us, so you can share your email in the chat or something so we can keep in touch. Thank you, Kirsten. So Kirsten has just put in the chat the website, Eurotopia for Communities in Europe. If someone's interested. Great resources. Feel free to drop any other resources in the chat, as this is the collective space that we built together. All right, so as the session's coming to an end, I would love to once again thank you for being here. I see that people are coming regardless of time zone, with many different backgrounds and experience. Thank you so much for that. I hope we'll have a chance to meet in person in some travel experience somewhere. And I invite you, if you feel energized and if you're really interested in this topic of Ecovillage travel and want to do something about it with us in Genoa, please reach out to us. So maybe we can co-create a program in your country. Maybe you can support us in co-creating this Ecovillage travel platform for Genoa. There's the sky's the limit. There's a lot that we can do together as long as the commitment and the energy is there. And as a checkout question, I would love to invite you to just share maybe one word of what's alive in you right now at the end of the call. You can put it in the chat. You can also just open your mic and say it as you leave the room. And thank you. Excited, oneness, alive. Thank you all. And yeah, you can just open your mic to say goodbye as well. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you virtually or in person. Bye. Bye, Dr. Romy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Marilyn.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to see you all.
It's hopeful, and thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thanks, Nam.
Thank you, everyone. And we
Priya.
hope to see you and welcome you soon to Sinapupunan ng Maharlika Eco Community. You're all welcome here.
Yay, one
Bye.
day.